get pay from them for giving them plugs. I just really like the software. Yeah, there's like these soundscapes, and then there's another plugin that we should check out today after today's shoot, which is called Life.
Life, what's in there?
It's XLN Audio's. I think you put in like some sound, like either talking or a dog bark or walking or a car starting, and it turns it into this whole soundscape. I think XLN was created for you.
I'm gonna say everything about what you're describing just sounds like
Yeah.
one hell of a fun time to mess around with.
That's the show. This is gonna be the whole show today. It's just me drinking.
So you drinking water, slurping really loudly as I'm trying to explain my life story to you.
I'll be a little more chaste than that, but not by much. So the format of the show is usually just, I ask you like a few probing questions.
Okay.
Generally, talk shows are the probing questions are discussed beforehand, but hell with it. Let's freewheel.
Right.
This is my YouTube channel, so it's Luxentus Records Corp's YouTube channel, so you can drop as many F-bombs as you want and stuff. I mean, Dennis and I,
Nice.
my old friend Dennis, we just screwed around for like, I don't know, 33 minutes. Like, we didn't talk about music at all.
You just talked
We
about
just
everything
talked about
else.
anything else. Because we were done. We talk about music all the time. So, it was fine. So, so usually I'll do like a cold open, like right now. And then I'll cut to the main title package, which is the credits and the music,
Okay.
and the animation, and then we get right back into it. So, yes, you've been watching Yousef BrownieBoy, and me, Jack, on another episode today on Press Play. Brother,
Good to
hello,
be here.
Huey.
How you doing, Jack? It's
Thank
great
you
to
for
be
being
back
here.
Here in the Spaceship studio.
Spaceship Studios with the podcast that will never end.
Never.
I just do many podcasts every single like week or two. So don't worry, you're gonna have like 2 weeks of like flying, and then you're gonna be replaced by somebody else. Sorry, man. So let's start with how we met. How did you and I meet?
So we met through a mutual, through our buddy, what is it, Ralph?
Ralph
right? Yeah,
Porcelli.
we met through Ralph Porcelli. He came to the deli one day that my parents owned at the time, and
Oh my God, that's right, the deli.
yep. And my mom was trying to tell him that my son has a band, he makes music, and he's trying to find somebody to produce the music and to mix it and master it. And he gave me your point of contact. And I remember on that day specifically, I was getting bombarded with spam calls constantly, just about car manufacturing warranties or something about debt collecting, just nonsensical spam. And you called after 15 calls in a row. And I immediately picked up and I said,
What?
I was like, it's exact. I was like, what?
What do you want?
Fucking spam. All I heard was, hi, this is Jack Walker from EKO Studios. I was told to reach out to you. I'm like, I am so sorry.
Totally fine.
And
Totally
I
fine.
sent you over a couple of songs. And I remember a few days later, you called me and you said, one of these songs I really like. I think you should come into the studio and just hear what I've been doing with it.
Yeah.
I came into the studio and you played it for me and for Ralph. It was Generation. And we loved it. I loved what you did with the song, and we were in the studio for a couple hours doing a couple of fine tunings here and there, and then we went into my car to listen to it,
Yeah.
and it damn near blew the speakers off my car.
Well, it's good.
I loved the mix of it.
That's
And
the hallmark of a good mix.
we've been working together ever since.
Yep. That was pop and alt pop Yui. But really, and we'll get to this topic later. Really, your focus now is a completely different style of music, under a completely different name. But for now, you work with a bunch of really fine folks right around the 20s, because I'm in my we're not going to talk about ages or anything like that. So what went on with them? They are called the Sunseekers.
They are called the Sunseekers. So we are a live band. We love to just do covers and a couple of original songs here and there, but we play a lot at beach kind of communities or beach bars, just very beach surf-esque theme places. So we have a couple of gigs lined up at Fire Island, some in John Scott's over in the West Hamptons, and we cover a whole smattering of genres, from anything from oldies, from Fleetwood Mac to the Eagles to Queens, all the way to modern day. We'll do. Yeah, no, we met. I met the drummer through high school is when our friendship really started to kick off. We knew of each other a little bit before then, but freshman year of high school is when he and I became good friends. I didn't play anything at all musically. I learned everything, how to play instruments in college is when I started. But going over to their house, I would always be exposed to different kinds of music. His sister, Jill, phenomenal vocalist. You've met her. You know how good she is.
Oh yeah.
We and as time went on, I kind of regretted not being able to join them in a lot of their musical ongoing. So when college hit, I learned how to play over one of the summers. Then I was actually able to play with them live in some gigs that came up, and then we met another guy. His name's Alex. You know him. He was the lead guitarist in the band.
Yep.
And from there, our friendship just kind of turned into, let's turn this into a band, because we actually kind of sound well together. We mesh well together. We vibe well together. So let's just bring this out live into the open. And that's how that happened. And over time, I just came up with some ideas for songs. Alex came up with some ideas. Jill had her own. Sean had his own. We put them into a couple of songs that we've released, and we have a couple more that we would like to release, but slow and steady as it's going.
Excellent. So so that's Sunseekers, and you mentioned one of the band members, Alex.
Mm-hmm.
How do you pronounce the last name? Because I always screw it up. It's Cipollone?
Cipollone.
Cipollone.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you should never drink alone. Anyway, bad jokes. We got jokes, folks. No, Alex is actually also working on your current project that we will get to.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as Sunseekers is concerned, can I post a link on the YouTube thing to the thing?
Absolutely.
Dink! There it is, ladies and gentlemen. Hop on over to your favorite streaming platform. I just happened to put up that one. I don't know which one it's going to be.
We'll pick one later.
It's on YouTube?
I don't believe we have YouTube yet, but we are on Instagram. We have been posting more on Instagram lately.
Okay, so it's an IG.
It is an IG.
Okay, so I'll have to dig into the annals of IG history.
Oh.
And now let's talk a little bit about your current solo project, which is not named Yousef Gaffary. It's named BrownieBoy. And
Yep. I make lo-fi music now.
You make lo-fi music. How did you come up with a name like BrownieBoy? Were you doing edibles?
No, I'm just brown.
Oh my god, that's perfect! I never thought of that! I always thought it was about edibles, which I'm totally down with. It's because
I'm just brown.
Think of that. You're brown. You're Brownie Boy. That's perfect. So Brownie Boy makes lo-fi music and generally makes lo-fi music on his laptop. Tell us a little bit about the style of music, what got you into it, and what drives you forward with releasing these constant litany of songs like Sad Boy Hours, which is going to be released under another record company. We'll get to that later.
Yep.
Later.
So it all started, I want to say a few years ago. One of my friends, close friends, his name is Brian, introduced this one guy, and we used to be in a Discord server with him, into lo-fi music, and then he started putting a bunch of bots into the channel that would play the music every now and then. We were just all on call, playing random games, and I overheard the music. I've never heard lo-fi before, and I immediately loved it. It was so relaxing, so melodic, and very well produced and thought out. I really just enjoyed it, and it was something you could really just either listen to and really appreciate all the sounds that were coming through, or just tune it off into the background while you're doing something else, or like fall asleep to it. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was very relaxing. So the more I listened to it, the more I started having ideas of, well, if I was making this song, I would actually make this change instead, or I would probably do this instead. And it led into eventually me saying, okay, you know what? I have a laptop. I have Logic. I have access to be able to make this kind of music. Why don't I at least try? And then one night, I was working on Logic, and I had my keyboard out. It was connected to MIDI to the laptop. because at the time I was working nights, but I was still on the night schedule, but I had off that night, so I was just up all night, and I was playing around with alchemy, which is the storage of random different sounds and logic that it comes with.
Sampler, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And I came across this one particular sound. I think it was like auroras over Iceland or something like that is what it was called.
I think I remember that sample.
Yep. And I remember playing a couple of this, like, just random chords on the piano. I'm like, I really like how this sounds. And then I just started trying to learn how to do solos on the piano. I'm like, let me see if I can, like, learn the scales. And that turned into me figuring out what keys went with these particular chords. Because at the time, I really just had no idea about the piano. I learned guitar. So this is me trying to learn how to play piano. I started plucking away at random different keys, figuring out what worked, and it turned into this melody that I really started to like. And I sent it to you, and I said, I think I could probably do something with this. And that was the first lo-fi tune I ever released, called Flying Low. And that's what sparked this whole lo-fi endeavor. And then the next tune that we released, it was called Fireside Dreaming. At the time, I was working at a nuclear power plant. And there was this one guy that I know who was...
Hang on, back up. In conversation, Yui just used the word nuclear power plant and working at in the same sentence. Just want to acknowledge that Yui had the entire... probably the whole northeast of the United States in the palm of his hands?
Yes.
Shit! So it's exactly what I think it was. It's like Bart Simpson with all of, like, the dials.
It's like
and
Homer, yeah.
buttons.
Homer in the...
Oh, right, Homer Simpson, right. Yeah, can you tell I never watched Simpsons? Simpsons?
Oh, we gotta watch this up, man. It's such a great show.
It's been on for like 40 years. I remember an article in Keyboard magazine where they had, I shit you not, a room full of just first call Los Angeles musicians. And the keyboard players would come in with multiple keyboards, multiple racks, and they would compose on the spot and make all of this music for synchronization to each episode because the episodes
Seriously?
were coming out so quickly. And it was before, we had the advent of, this kind of thing where it's like, you can have a whole orchestra in your back
in the
pocket.
palm of your hand, basically. Yeah.
Anyway, I just wanted to acknowledge the fact that you worked at a nuclear power plant.
Yes.
Was it Three Island, the one up in
No, it wasn't Three Island.
Jersey?
No, it wasn't Three Island. It was in Connecticut. It was a power plant called Dominion,
They
formerly
have
known as Millstone.
They have a power plant in Connecticut?
Yes, it's in Waterford.
Is it legal?
Yes. At least I hope so.
Your side job is you're working in energy.
Yes.
Probably work for the DOE.
Not
probably got a clearance.
Not the DOE. I work for a separate company called Fuel Cell Energy, and they create a whole bunch of hydrogen fuel cell plants. And there's a whole bunch in Connecticut. There's some that are out in California. There's some in other countries across the world.
Right.
They have 3 sites on Long Island, and I am the sole overseer and engineer and maintenance crew, you could say, for these 3 sites. So I am their technician that goes out and resolves any issues that they find or brings them up to whoever needs to help me fix these issues.
Awesome, dude.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right, enough about your side gig. Let's talk about your primary source of...
The second tune that I ever released was called Fireside Dreaming. Right. That one of my coworkers came over to my house at the time, and I was telling him, like, yeah, I'm thinking of making lo-fi music. I kind of like it, and I enjoy screwing around on the piano. And he's like, I always had this idea for something that I was playing on the piano, but I never did anything with it. I was like, all right, come over, let's hear it. And I queued up the same sounds, the Aurora over Iceland, and he was playing the first bit of chords on Fireside Dreaming. That was him. And it was initially named Ben's Bullshit because his name was Ben, and I had no idea what we were doing with it, so I called it Ben's Bullshit at the time, and I sent it to you, and it completely took off in the direction that it did. I didn't even think it would go in that direction, but you and I worked together and made it what it is.
That was Ben's Bullshit.
Yep.
It's a great name for a song. I mean, it gets past all the censors. I mean, you really have to think about this these days. Mm-hmm. Like when your songs might or could be, you never know, put forth for consideration for putting into the Grammy nomination pool.
Yep.
Ben's Bullshit. Best new best new artist.
BrownieBoy.
BrownieBoy with Ben's Bullshit. So it's Dreaming.
Yep.
Fucking hysterical, you. I love you so much.
It was great.
So where do you get your inspiration from? I know we talked a little bit. You were coming in the room and you were talking about because we were talking about specific plugins like XO and RC20. I think you
Yes.
were right. I think it's 20. Um, and addictive drums. You know, like all the XLN stuff. We use Omnisphere. We use RX Stylus RMX. We use a lot of stock plugins too. I mean, there's some really good offerings. Logic has a lot of great offerings. Pro Tools, not so much. They have the air stuff, which is cool in a pinch. But once you get your mitts on, like, a Spectrasonics library, like, I don't know, Keyscape,
I
you know,
I
I
really
mean,
want
it's
to
like,
get
you know,
Keyscapes at some point. It's just there's so many
you'll
great
never
sounds
touch
in there.
another piano. And I said that, but you know what? I said that about Modart's Piano Tech. And then I discovered Arturia's grand piano, or Piano V2.
The amount of times you've booted up Arturia in any of our projects
Yeah.
is insane. It's almost every single time.
Well, because it's all the synthesizers from when I was a young man. So I remember these things. I remember how they sound. I have a closet full of
How do they actually compare to the actual sounds? Like, is it
1-to-1.
seriously?
It's so scary how. And what makes it even better is the noisy synths or the synths that need to be tuned. You can choose to turn the noise off or detune it, like if it's been on tour for a while.
Oh wow!
And it goes, yeah, like I mean, we're talking real analog stuff.
So you can actually, sorry. So you can actually make it.
You broke my $800 microphone. I'm just kidding.
Just kidding.
I'm joking.
I'll kick it over.
You're kicked out.
So you can actually make that piano sound exactly like how you want it to, back in the days when it was just out of tune.
Well, the piano, yeah, the Arturia piano sample is actually, I think it's supposed to be a Steinway D, if I'm not mistaken. But there's other offerings. So, for instance, Modart had 3 pianos. I had a Bechstein, I had a Yamaha C3, and I had a Steinway B, which is the concert grand. It's beautiful. I think it's the concert grand. No, that's the D. I'm sorry. The B is the shorter one. I learned on a B. I want to say. Man, when you break 50, Yui, don't go past 50. Just stay at 49 for the rest of your life, because the memory goes, and the memory goes, and also
Skydiving will take care of that for me. Don't worry.
You're gonna make me jump out of a plane with you? Okay, that's
no,
actually.
I'm saying skydiving's gonna prevent me from getting to 50.
Oh, to 50? Oh my God, Yui! Give me your. For shame! Don't talk about my friend that way. You poor man. Your poor mother. Oh my God.
Oh, yeah, she's not happy that I skydive.
She knows.
But
Does she know when you go up?
yeah, she knows. Every time I text her, I go up,
So
and then
you,
I text
so
her
you
when I
tell
land.
her, and then you're like, Mom, I'm about to jump out at like
Yep.
7,000
This
feet.
is as I'm in the air.
Yeah.
I'm like texting her like right before I jump out. Like, hey, I'm about to jump out. I just text her a few minutes later, like, hey, I landed.
All right, Mom, I'm good. Parachute open. But
Yes.
our sound, so really, you get to a point where there's so many sounds, you don't need any more soft synths, and it just basically becomes like a collector's thing, where everything that comes out, you're like, ooh, something shiny, something new, I gotta try it and see how it sounds. And then what's nice is they give you a...
I feel like once you buy or get a hold of a bunch of different, I want to say 3 or 4 different massive library of plugins, like Keyscapes has a wide library.
Yeah.
But if so, you have Omnisphere is insanely massive.
And
Once
keeps growing.
And it keeps growing. Once you get a hold of 3 or 4 of them, you can EQ either one to specifically almost match another sound that's close to it from a different library at some point. At least I feel like. Correct me if I'm wrong, though.
No, you're right. And that's a great... that's actually a really great segue into the other end of plugins, which is not an instrument. It's a audio effect. And no, you're the only person that I work with that uses Logic on a regular basis. I work with other people who use Studio One Pro 7 a lot, which is PreSonus's, which incidentally, their audio effects, it's like their audio effects stock library is fantastic. So,
I've heard a lot of good things about Studio Pro 1. I'm just sticking with the Logic because I already bought it.
Apple, I think, gets a bad rap as far as the longevity of their gear, because they were originally, the word was that they were originally used for 3 things: graphic design, scientific pursuits, and music and video production, all of which uses maximum memory and maximum CPU cycles. And Pro Tools, at least when you install it, Pro Tools tells you to, okay, I want you to go into energy saving and hit the off button.
Wow.
Screens are on all the time. Discs never go to sleep. Never standby mode. Never work on network access. Wake access. Gosh, man.
So you're leaving
Like I said, 50s, buddy.
You're leaving that shit on all the time.
Until you hit shutdown. And of course, Jack forgets to hit shutdown. Jack just hits sleep on his computer.
Oh, so it's just never resting.
There's always a trickle of power going through it. Now, my last 2 computers were reverbs. I had the last computer I had before these two, I have an M2 and an M4. The last one before that was a trash can Mac, affectionately nicknamed the Circular File. And, I used to because it looks like a trash can. It's a black thing. It was the last computer that they made of the type in 2012, and it uses Intel Xeon processing. And then they moved to the iSeries stuff for some of the Mac Minis and the iMacs. Anyway.
But you got this new one set up. You were saying it works wonders.
It smokes, but I want it to smoke for 10 years. I want it to be as efficient and not give me any, not kick back any issues.
You just got to remember to put it to sleep or actually shut it down every now and then.
Give it a shot of midazolam,
yes.
Go right to sleep.
Just shoot it with a trank dart.
Trank dart. I'm bad. Did you just move the camera?
I think I might have accidentally...
Oh, let me see if I moved you. Here's the guest cam. Oh, you're good. Actually, no, that was my camera. What are you doing? Oh, that's fine.
Yeah,
okay, that looks good. I don't have a crew. I have somebody who to watch over me because I'm sick, and I have my guest.
And then I ruin everything by kicking
you look at the crew right now, and then of course you got to kick everything over because that's what he does when he gets pissed.
Yes.
Because he's a totally horribly violent person that I hate hanging out with. You know what I did enjoy was your brother Zial.
Oh, the Ziani?
Ziani, that's it.
Yes.
Zial was the name of the Cardassian daughter of Gul Dukat in Deep Space Nine, who defects to the Federation, and then Ben Sisko. Gul Dukat, who's great as
on about?
Zial. Her name's Zial. Is the daughter. Gul Dukat tells Captain Sisko, "You've never watched DS9."
No. So it's depending on the year this was released, I might have either not been born yet or fresh out of the womb. So shame on me for not knowing what you're talking about.
Shame on you for not knowing what I was talking about. Anyway, it's Gul Dukat. You're trashing the place again.
Yes.
That's the remote control that I use to switch cameras because it's live switched. So yes, Zial. So that's why I keep screwing up the name. It's Ziani.
Ziani, yes.
Okay, so your brother Michael got married, and
or Ziani, Ziani, whatever.
I called it a Lebanese bachelor party, but it wasn't really a bachelor party because there were men and women there.
Yes, it was shaving the groom party.
Can we talk about it a little bit because I've
Yes.
never had so much fun. I've been to bachelor parties before, and all it's been is just okay, I'm ready for this to be done. I went to his brother Michael's.
The Ziani.
Ziani, not Zial. It's not half Cardassian, half Ziani, not half Bajoran, half Cardassian. And originally I was there. I was supposed to just take some video, and I ended up in a mosh pit.
Yep.
Of Lebanese and American folk that were basically hitting me with shaving cream, and it got all over my camera and the gyroscope.
The whole Ziani is basically, imagine everyone on both sides of the family comes together, blasting a whole bunch of Middle Eastern music or any other kinds of music if you'd like to, but typically just a whole bunch of Middle Eastern music.
They were great,
and it's such a good time. And everyone's dancing, you're having drinks, you're having fun, a couple of people give speeches, and then you go back to dancing. But the main part of it is, it's almost like this coming of age and welcoming of maturity for the groom who's about to get married. And the way that you do that is you slap the shit out of him with a bunch of shaving cream, and then you shave his beard off, and then you put him on a chair like it's a bar mitzvah, and then you start
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 dancing with
moving
him
around.
and threatening neck injury and back injuries with him.
Neck injuries.
And the story of how he met his love, his lady, is absolutely adorable because what
It's
is he
pretty funny.
the god of the god of brownie boys.
So basically, how they met is it's almost kind of something out of a comedy skit, but this is actually how it happened. It starts off in a little bit of a tragedy, but my brother was outside. He's in really good shape, and he was working out. He was shirtless on like a hot summer day. So
You
he
could
just,
say he's
yes,
handsome.
yeah. So he's just sweat, and then out of nowhere a car comes by and hits a telephone pole that's near our house, and my brother runs out into the street, completely shirtless by the way. Still runs out into the street to try to see if they're fine, and his soon-to-be, well, now wife, and her mom were driving the other side of the road. So they pulled over, and
they could help.
yeah, they wanted to see if they could help.
Yeah.
And well, my brother was telling me that his now mother-in-law was trying to say, "You don't have any shoes on. There's glass everywhere. You're gonna get hurt." And he basically flipped her off and said, "Like, screw off. I'm just trying to help
I'm
these
just
people."
trying to drag these folks out of this
So
car.
he's getting lectured while he's trying to help people. So he tells him to piss off. So his now wife thought he was good looking. So she said, if I'm going to try to find this guy, he's probably on some kind of dating app. So she makes a Bumble, finds him, they match, and the rest is history.
Wow. So she told him that she was the one who passed by and tried to.
And what's funny is they've known each other before then. Like, not personally, but they've met prior. Because she would come into the deli a lot. He'd be working there. He'd make her food. And they'd have, like, quick conversations every now and then. But it was only after they matched and they started talking that they actually started going out. And I think it was their second date or third, something around there, very early into their relationship. I remember I took the ferry back from Connecticut and I was driving back home, and he gives me a call, hammered, and he goes, "Hey, I'm on a date right now with this really awesome girl, and we just killed 2 bottles of wine at the restaurant." And I'm like, 2?
Was that there for? That was like early.
Very early into the relationship. Like, this was either date number 2 or 3. And he's telling me that they need a ride. And I was like, you cannot be serious. You're just dumping this on me. I'm like an hour away from home still, so you're going to have to wait. So I pick him up. This girl is so happy and blushing and smiling. She's like, "Thank you very much, picking him up. I had so much fun." He's like all loopy because they're both hammered.
Yeah.
And he's hammered. I get him home, and then I just remember him telling me, "Dude, I've never felt this way about a girl before."
When those words passed their lips.
And now they're together.
And now they're together, and they're happily married. Well, I mean, it was just really a great time being a part of that. And, like, I didn't know, because I got in front of the little stage thing that you guys had set up on the seat, and, you're doing the thing with the shave and stuff. Like, and
I'm pretty
I was
sure
like,
somebody slapped you in the back of the head and, like, covered your hair with...
blasted me on the side of my head, and I was like, Psh! And I'm like trying to hold the camera steady. I'm like, oh wait, it's on a gyroscope. It's fine, no worries. Go ahead, slap away. So like last time I shaved, it's totally fine. And the stock for Barbasol shaving cream went way the hell up for like that 1 week.
Yep.
Because I thought it was just gonna be like
like one or two
cans,
no,
maybe.
No, every
It was
one.
like 50 cans of freaking shaving cream coming
Yes.
out.
Probably, I grow, like, my facial hair actually grows pretty quick. I could probably make a whole bottle of shaving cream last 6 months, bare minimum.
Oh wow. Okay.
So the fact that we ran through 50 cans of that shit.
Yeah, it made your heart break and your face go.
That's a lifetime's worth.
Why?
That is a lifetime's worth of shaving cream for some guys. Think about that.
It's true. It's true for folks who don't grow beards very often. Michael Landor, Lauren, if you're watching this, really, really great time. It was a pleasure being part of your thing.
That was so much fun. I almost missed it too. I almost missed it.
I know you were on a freaking
job. I got called out to work. I had to go to Connecticut to grab some tools. Then I had to come back to Long Island, and then I just rapid rushed my way through what I had to do. Got it done right.
Yep.
And then just barely made it to the start of Ziani.
You got it, and then you got liquored up, which I was proud of you. You had to get drinked. And then you were wearing, your brother was wearing a gold shirt. Were you wearing a gold shirt?
No, it was like this brown button down that I just bought like the day before.
It's all a blur. Everything is white.
Yep.
Because of the
shaving cream. Everything is white except for everybody's skin.
Everybody's skin, which was brown. Thus it is BrownieBoy. Dude, so while you're making everybody's alpha and beta waves and data and delta and theta, oh god, we're doing a meds change and man, I'm hallucinating. I just saw it. I saw a brownie just floating in the sky. I want to eat it. Yeah, let's go make brownies. Can we go make brownies after we're done with this, or you want to play music? We gotta play music.
I was gonna say I'm cool with brownies.
You are a foodie, and
Yes.
you are not a foodie that necessarily. I mean, I know you go to specific restaurants. We've talked about maybe going into like Aja 53.
Yeah, Aja's, yeah.
Yeah, Aja 53. There's a couple, and then there's I think another Mediterranean, like a Greek restaurant that you and I were gonna meet.
I just
at.
enjoy trying new things, but also I have my own little cooking channel
you
too.
are
And I like to
a
throw
cook.
stuff on there.
Tell us all about cooking with Yui's Kitchen.
Yeah,
Yui's
so-
Kitchen.
Yui's
That's right.
Kitchen. So-
Somebody made your bump in.
Yep.
Somebody made your music.
Oh, thank you for that one. So, that whole Yui's Kitchen thing started off. I had a good amount of free time, and a lot of the food that I cook, my family seems to like, and my friends also seem to like it. So I just figured, screw it. I enjoy watching these other videos of people cooking. Might as well throw my hat in the ring and give it a shot and see if anybody likes it. And I had one video that went stupid viral.
Do you have a link to that?
I do have a link to the video that was stupid viral. I'm gonna
It's
put
right
it
here.
Right here.
Bink! Right there. Yay.
And it was
Go
these-
here. And what was that? Was that the pulled pork one?
No, it wasn't the pulled pork one. It was these fig jam pecan cookies.
No wonder why
With,
I
like,
went
powder
viral.
sugar. Yes.
No one would think about.
Well, the recipe, the way that I got it, and I started off the video by saying, I'm going to show you a recipe I stole from my mom, who stole it from the internet. And at the time, my mom knew the recipe. She knew she got it from somewhere on Instagram. She just didn't know where. So when I posted it, and it started going viral, and I had loads of comments saying, it's this person's video. I think her name is Savannah's Kitchen or something like that.
So you got picked up by someone who's got like
Yep.
100,000.
So I actually, once the video blew up, she liked and commented on the video after I edited it and gave her credit. Once I realized where it came from, I was like, yeah, this is hers. Go follow her. This is just the recipe I used for it, and I basically took her recipe and cut it in half because I didn't need that many cookies at the time. And
Yes, you did.
I made another batch right after.
You
It
got
was
to
so
make
good.
another batch.
She liked it. She commented on it. She said it was really nice. And my mom, when I showed her, like, hey, the lady that you got the video from liked it. She like was running around the house freaking out. She's like, oh my god, because I think she has like over 1 million followers or something like that.
That makes sense.
Huge platform that she's got.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've just been doing that, and the more I do my lo-fi and the more I do my cooking, I've realized it's kind of nice when I'm cooking a video and then I throw the relaxing music on it. So I'm like,
Sure.
I just put lo-fi music on it, and the more music I release, I'll start tacking my stuff onto there as well. And it's just a double whammy of I'm doing things that I like while also promoting things that I like.
Sure. And as far as exposure is concerned, besides having the folks of the interwebs, cooking up your meals that you make, and the instructions are very, very clear, and you do it, and it's delicious. And your music together, you've recently been selected.
Randomly selected.
Randomly
like TSA
selected
at the
out
airport.
of TSA, yes.
Randomly selected to take off your pants and have your prostate examined by
Oh
TSA.
my
Please bend over.
They don't do that. They don't do that. You know what they have? They have a thing, and you put your hands up,
Yep.
and it goes, and it probably clones you.
It wouldn't surprise
And
me.
then they question the clone for a day and a half, and they waterboard
They waterboard the clone.
clone.
Dude,
So they know, because like when I was going, for instance, to Los Angeles, they didn't do that because they're like, well, what guy in his right mind right now is going to Los Angeles? Not because I don't love the city. I loved Los Angeles. It was because the Palisades fires were happening, like while I was booking my flight, which is like a week before the Palisades got put out. Anyway, I got off the plane and I was with my my friend Steve's wife. I was right behind her, and they opened the doors, and the two of us immediately had asthma attacks.
Wow.
And I was like, why can't I?
It was because of the smoke
Yeah,
and the
so
smog.
we're like looking for our inhalers. She got her inhaler out, I got mine out, and we were basically sucking on this inhaler for about an hour. And that's a lot of
Jeez.
albuterol. Like I took one puff, then I took 5 minutes later a second puff, and then I waited a little while. It was good, but then it started to get bad again. So I was like, we need to get inside in air conditioning because it's
somewhere
bad.
with filtration.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because I haven't had asthma since I was 10.
And the fact that it flared up like that.
It flared up because I had COVID 7 times or something, and I got those problems. But at any rate, the reason why I say that is I can't remember what we were talking about. Oh, the TSA.
Yes, TSA.
And they were gonna check you for they were gonna do a cavity check, right?
I actually get randomly selected.
It's because
at
you're
the
brown.
airport. Yes.
It's
No,
because you're
I'm not
brown.
even kidding. So there was one time for my brother's bachelor party. We were coming back from Puerto
BrownieBoy.
Rico. Yep. We were flying back from Puerto Rico, and at the airport, my backpack went through the inspection, like
Yep.
through whatever the detector is, the metal detector or the X-ray machine.
We're gonna take you in for the special check-in,
Yes.
Mr. Gaffary.
They pulled out my electric razor, and it didn't have like the actual razor part. It was just like the shaft of it with the button. She was asking, "What is this remote for?" And I was like, "It's a razor." She's like, "This looks like a detonator." I'm like, "There's a picture of a mustache on it. It's an electric razor for my beard."
Take my shoes off. Where's
She
the
thought it was a
explosive?
detonator.
Oh God, buddy. Someone I used to know used to get like the special check-in every time because she was also brown, and what she would do is before she got to the airport, she turned on a different persona, and she'd get these big hoop earrings and put on this lipstick, and she'd turn Latina. And I was like, that's actually a really good idea. If
They're still gonna check her just.
yeah, just check her and get her out of this check-in area. She's making a scene, and like chewing gum and doing stuff like that.
Yep.
I mean, that's actually a really good idea. So maybe Yousef could be I don't
Pedro.
know. What?
Pedro.
Oh, you're gonna be Mexican. Nope, people got problems with the Mexicans these days, buddy.
Oh yeah.
I'm very, very sorry. No, it's not gonna help, and you're never gonna be able to get on a plane without an hour and a half.
I am
worth of-
so amazingly humble. It's probably my best quality.
You are very humble. in all honesty, you are a very humble guy, and that's why I like being in the room with you because it's 10% talent.
Thank you. 10% talent.
Listen,
90% humility.
90% humility. It's 10% talent. So like, if we're working on an album together, like now, it's 10% talent and 90% your personality. How personable are you? Because you will go farther in this business, generally. You'll go farther in this business if you have a really good disposition and you're positive and you don't like, you don't have any like negative hang-ups or anything like that.
Nobody really likes working with an ass.
I mean,
So.
donkeys can't mix. But what we could do is we could try. We can make faders big enough for their hooves to hit.
What if we do AI generated donkey from?
Oh
from
my
Shrek?
gosh.
AI generated donkey from.
Oh
from
my
Shrek.
gosh. Let's type that into Chat GPT 3.5, which by
Yes.
the way, just passed the Turing test.
Is that the one where it talks about like if there's a woman in the room, she has a line of dialogue that isn't related to a guy or something like that? Or is that a different? Or am I thinking? No, that's the Bechtel.
No, that's clubbing on a Thursday night on Long Island.
Yes.
No. The Turing test is actually a computer test that, if a person doesn't know if they're talking to a human or a computer, if they can answer 5 questions conceptually. This is going right off the rails.
This is going perfectly on the rails. That
You're out of the frame again. Get your. There you go. Perfect. You're in the 2-shot.
Yes. This is going back onto the rails that it should be on.
It should be on the rails at this point. No, the Turing test is the person can't determine whether or not who they're talking to is a computer or an actual
Gotcha,
carbon-based life form. So it's the difference between silicon and carbon. And what's really crazy is that Mac's new AI chips are silicon, carbon, and silicon, 2 intelligences. Do I detect perhaps a little bit of
Terminator in the future?
Yeah, like like the T-1000 might be coming to kill Sarah Connor or Jack Walker.
Oh, I'm ready for
'Cause he
it.
deserved
Just let it happen.
You just had enough. Like, why worry?
just jump out of a plane. It's all
Just jump out of a perfectly good aircraft.
Right along.
Yeah, well, you got to do this.
Yep.
Because you can't get out of the pattern.
Yep.
You get out of the pattern, you're in big not you, the pilot, in big trouble.
Yes.
So you got to make, spirals.
Yep.
Squirrel.
Just keep spiraling.
Just short hops here and there to
Yeah.
Republic International Airport, and to you can take these quick trips to like qualify, just like you had to qualify to jump out of a perfectly good airplane.
Perfectly.
Perfectly. No, I don't think it's crazy. I think everybody is entitled to their yum.
Mhm.
I will not yuck your yum.
I was having a conversation with my uncle about this, and it's kind of interesting to think about that some people find the most amount of life teetering on the edge of death.
Wow. That's deep, bro.
Yeah. Some people are okay with just chilling out and just relaxing, which is a strange dichotomy to go from jumping out of planes to just making lo-fi, which is very relaxing. You'd think I'd be into something else.
Maybe mildly dangerous, like, I don't know, hang gliding or something.
Hang gliding looks like a lot of fun. I want to try paragliding, like with the motor.
With the motorboat.
When you were like just thousands and thousands of feet above the clouds, just chilling with the motor.
What happens when the parachute,
Oh, well, then you pray.
You plummet to your death is what happens.
Well, you pray.
You pray first, and then you plummet.
Yes.
You make the prayer that we probably heard at the Zial.
At the Ziani, yeah.
Ziani. Please don't kill me today, oh Lord, oh Muhammad.
I need you for music.
Need you for music. Yui, it was a pleasure having you on the show today. Thank you so much for being here.
I love being here.
Ladies and gentlemen, BrownieBoy, also known as Yousef Gaffary. We learn something new every day. Now I know. I'm gonna pop. One of my artists is.
We're gonna pop the links to the Spotify here. Instagram.
Links everywhere.
Stuff.
Don't worry about clicking on anything. Just ping. Oh, and there's that one up there. There's all kinds of good music out there to be had, and people could be a little paranoid about that stuff, and I don't blame them. Copyright your stuff. Copyright your music.
Yes. And if you do send anything over to this guy, I promise you, he'll set you up right. He is a wealth of knowledge, and he knows exactly what he's doing. Great personality, too.
Great Yui. Great Brownie Boy.
All right, everybody.
Peace and love.
Peace and love. Bye-bye.
One more link. Bing! Perfect. Thank you, brother.
We should put at the link on the bottom.
What?
Like the one more link. It should just be like a quick split second. Just gonna say Pornhub.com.
No. I was thinking about that when we were doing that. I'm like, I bet Yui's gonna go, let's do Pornhub.com. And I'm like, yeah, I suppose we could do that, or VR Smash, or one of the other ones of those. Cause I don't fit in with this generation, but I guess it's too tough, cause we're all having fun. They say, hey, yo, just go with the flow.